Welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast, the place for everything auto detailing in Australia right now. Here's your host, Dale Guthrie.
G'day and welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Dale Guthrie. So we're back 2025, so hope we all had a good New Year's and time off and some good holidays in between. So no doubt everyone's back into it and smashing cars out. So that's the way. And but yeah, as from my last podcast from late last year, so yeah, we had a bit going on last year, and I hope that this year we can be more consistent. So and keep delivering what we promised. So, but if you didn't catch that episode, and there's been a little bit of chat about it, I had an announcement in that podcast. So, just I thought I'd announce a podcast podcast co-host for me. So just to help probably change things up with the pod as well, and put a bit of different spin on every episode and stuff, and a bit of help along the way. So this guy is known to the podcast, and he's known to the industry in Australia as well. He's had a few different businesses, so yeah, brings a wealth of experience. So yeah, we'll introduce our new podcast co-host, Joe New Sephora. Good morning, mate. How you going?
Good morning, Dale. Hey, it's great to be here, man. Thank
That's all
you.
right. No, thanks for uh, opting to come on and yeah, help out with what we do here. So it's gonna be cool this year, I reckon.
Yeah, no, it's an absolute pleasure. It's a huge honor, mate. You're doing such a good job here on the podcast. I've always loved listening to it, all the people that you interview, and to be able to join on the fun with you alongside you is a huge honor. So yeah, thanks so much for inviting me to tag along with you. It's great.
No, no, it's good. You're no stranger to what we do here anyway. You've been on a few times, so and it's been always good. Different ideas as well that you've brought along and always helped me with. So no, it's going to be good. So, but
Awesome.
yeah, we'll probably start off with you've sort of had a bit going on since I think the last episode you were on with you and Glenn was the
Mm,
training one we did. So that was really
yes.
good and probably a little bit come out of that as well, that episode
Yes.
with you too. So, but
Yes.
yeah, I'll let you sort of explain what you've got going on or what's been
Yeah.
happening.
Well, I guess we could start with that. Myself and my wife, we're the owners of Clean Getaway Car Detailing on the Sunshine Coast. And at the beginning of, I'd say it was, could get my years right now, the beginning of 2023, we uh, pretty much decided that we wanted to sell the business and move away from the Sunshine Coast. Not to get away from the Sunshine Coast, but actually move to something different. And that was moving up to far north Queensland, which I know we'll probably have a little chit chat about down the track. Far north Queensland, near Cairns, about an hour south of Cairns in a small town, which is where I'm originally from, which is where I grew up, lived. A lot of my family's here, very rural area, and we would always visit here on holidays and stuff like that with the kids. Never thought I'd ever move back, but then I guess as life circumstances were changing, kids getting older, or school, all that kind of stuff. I've only got little kids. It was more on our mind. And yeah, we made the decision like we wanted to move back up to be close to the family, friends up here, and just live in a more rural area, pretty much to have a good sized backyard and all that kind of stuff I used to have when I was a kid. So yeah, so then that whole year we really focused on building our business so that it can be sellable and ideally purchasable, if that's even a word.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, so then 1 year went by, and I guess around the start of 2024 is when Glenn from Street Appeal actually purchased Clean Getaway Car Detailing on the Sunshine Coast from us. So that was, we're in 2025 now. So it's been a year since he's been now the owner of the Clean Getaway Car Detailing on the sunny coast. So I've been up here in far north Queensland, doing my thing, doing a couple of things up here, which has been really good and loving it. It's a lot more hot, a lot less flash cars, that's for sure. A lot more, Land Cruisers, Rangers, all that kind of stuff. But no, really, really, really loving it. I've been really busy up here. It's been a total change of, I guess, like my personal life of just how I go about doing things, what it's like. It's a lot slower up here. There's a lot less people. I live in a town of 7,000 people, and it's a lot more wet as well, wettest part of Australia. And yeah, it's been really, really good. And there's a lot of things going on. So I'll let you lead the conversation about that if you want.
Yeah, it's I think it's pretty rare that of people selling detailing businesses. They probably happens, but we don't hear too
Mm,
much about it. But can you explain a little bit of the process and how that would work if anyone's thinking of selling up
yeah.
and doing similar thing?
Yeah, yeah, no, that's cool. So, and you're right, Dale, like a lot of the times we can see a business for sale and all you're really buying is the gear, like the tools, the equipment, and you get this clientele list because the main part of the business was the person doing the work.
Mm.
Um, and in my case, with Clean Getaway, for a few years before that, we were always trying to make it that I wasn't the bottleneck. And that's some stuff that Glenn and I actually were talking about in that podcast where we did the training with you about staff and everything like that. Because he has at the time had a successful business in Melbourne and still does at this time. He's running both businesses.
Mm.
So people can get more context if they go back to that podcast. But yeah, so leading. So I'm trying to think what the question was again. But just with getting
How you going on
into
selling it and
yeah.
talking
Sorry,
to
mate.
agents and
Sorry.
stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah, so that whole process was pretty big, and it was great because those few years leading up to selling, we were focusing on making me not the bottleneck. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. And so that meant training up staff, equipping team, making sure that I'm not the only decision maker, and that the team can work well and also be profitable when I'm not on the tools. And that was really, really important because that's what makes a business a business. It's got to be a machine that generates income and doesn't revolve around, the boss all the time. And so when it came to that year of us deciding to sell, it was really just honing in on that, like just really just making sure that the team can do everything, that I'm not the best of at everything, to upskilling the staff so that no, you need to be better than me. Like I want you to do a better job than me because I need to pull back and I need to equip you to be able to do a great job. And yeah, and then it got to obviously getting like a broker, to try and sell the business. And we had quite a fair few people look at the business from all walks of life, local and from afar. And that was interesting. And then, Glenn actually moved up to the sunny coast and was starting a business on the Sunshine Coast, another detailing business. And then we got chatting. Then we had the podcast with you. And
Mm.
then Glenn would sometimes come to us and I would ask him to help out with some PPF work because we just had too much work to get done. And then I kind of just asked him, like, hey, like, and it's, I don't want to be the elephant in the room, but have you ever thought about selling the business? Because you're a really good candidate, you're already doing it, you're in the industry, you're entrepreneurial, like, what do you think? And so we actually had quite a few chats and meetings about it. And then as time went by, yeah, like all the solicitors got involved, which was fantastic. But we tried to work a lot of that out ourselves so that the solicitors weren't going aggro at each other because that's what they're really good at and charging for it. Um, so yeah, it was really good because we were very open and honest through our conversations of what the contract will look like and what we both believe is fair for each party. And yeah, we sold it to Glenn, and it's been going well, and yeah, it's been a bit of a transition.
Yeah. No, that's really good. How'd you go with the employees? How did like letting them know? And did
Yes,
they
yes,
suspect anything when you started sort of stepping back a bit,
yeah.
going, "What's going on here?"
And that is a really good topic because there's the whole thing of like, oh, what happens if the staff leave?
Mm,
And you sell a business, it's if you have no team, it's worth nothing. You got
yeah,
to because that's what people are buying. They're buying the skills of your team that, what they can do is all part of the business. And so, that year of knowing we're going to sell, it was probably about halfway through the year or even before that. So around May, June of that year, we believe we're going to sell. We actually told our senior members in our business just so they understood a little bit of the context of why I was making some decisions of like, pulling back a little bit and trying to upskill team and why I wanted to implement different types of systems just so they fully understood like, what was going on. It also gave us the opportunity to talk about why we're doing it. It's not you, it's us, that
yeah,
kind of thing. And what our personal aspirations are. And they really got on board with that. And then it was then probably I think I'm trying to do it by memory here, sorry, but
you're right.
probably like August, September, we told the whole team that the business is for sale. Like where it probably was even actually earlier than that now that I think about it. But everyone knew. They knew the reasons why. It was all out in the open. Like we asked them, don't go posting it on Facebook and, telling the whole world, but just so you know, that's what we're doing. And because we had people coming in looking at the business and doing a walk around, having meetings and stuff. So if they didn't know, it would look really weird.
Yeah,
And then people would assume stuff, and then that's when bad stories get out, I guess. So, but the team were good. And then when it came to like Glenn, like we were in the process with Glenn from Street Appeal taking over, doing all the contracts. He came in, and me and him really wanted the time for the team to hear him speak and kind of like share his vision with the business and what he's about. So he had opportunity to talk to the team well before he was going to take over, and just to calm their nerves, I guess, because it is you hear those stories where someone else takes over and all staff go. They all get
mm,
fired or something brutal happens, right? And so that was a big thing that I didn't want that to happen solely, for the business and for Glenn. But also I really wanted to make sure that, yeah, the team really have to stay. Like you don't want to get rid of them, like they're a vital part of the business. And Glenn
mm,
was very much on the same page as that. So it just all came down to communication, like just really chatting to everyone about it, making sure no one had any questions. We really wanted to make sure everyone was comfortable as best as you can, and that they weren't getting anxious about it because sometimes you can. And yeah, just to make sure it was a smooth transition and nothing ever goes super smoothly. Like it's something I've never done before, sold a business like this. Um, and I've sold a division of my business, like the mobile department. We sold that quite a few years ago before then, but never actually sold an entire business. Like that's yeah, it took about 3 days or 4 days where I was there with Glenn, changing everything over, like websites, phone numbers, like accounts, like just all the like so many times we're talking to people on the phone and all that fun stuff, when you got to do
mm.
all that. So that was pretty draining, but it all got done and all got done well.
Yeah, no, it's pretty impressive. Even for Glenn to come in and probably, yeah, speak to the employees and probably assure them that it's all good. And I think he would have had a bit more respect knowing that he runs another business, detailing
Yes.
business as well, not just he doesn't own the coals down the road. He's in just here to buy another business. He actually does it himself. So
Yeah.
I
And
think
I
that's pretty
think
cool.
I think we can see like even in other industries, when someone comes in and has no idea about the industry, and they just think it's going to be super easy, like they're usually in for a surprise. Because like it's important to win the respect by your team, and that the team know that you understand what they're talking about, and that you can jump in the trenches with them and help them get the work done. And I think too with detailing, it is like that Aussie battler type job. It's,
Mm.
you don't need to go to uni for it and all that. You can if you want to, but it's not really going to advance your skills in polishing a car or doing PPF. But yeah, so it was good. I think it was really good.
Yeah. No, it's good. How'd you, reflect them probably back on that business, the highs and lows, and probably how long did you actually have that for?
Yeah, so we had Clean Getaway for 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Um, so grew that from just being mobile, just me, you know, driving around, spending more money on fuel than actually making income. Commodore and a trailer, not a good combination. But um, yeah, so 14 years and the highs and lows, like, well, I learned some good lessons, and one really good thing I did was I got help with running a business, like from a business coach, and also I did a bit of like who was a business coach that just wasn't even in the industry. So that was really good to learn more how to run a business in general. And then, getting training and help from a business coach from the United States who was running a detailing empire essentially, who started from scratch. So someone in the industry, someone with the skills to pay the bills, and that was really, really good. And so that helped because one thing I learned was bigger isn't always better. And by that, I just mean like we got to a point where we had 10, 12 staff and it was just like chaos, like you felt like you're getting, because you had so many cars coming in, it kind of filled that little, void of like, oh man, look at all the cars coming in and like we're just so busy. And then you do the numbers, you do your tax, you do everything, and you're like, wow, like we
It's not
spent
worth
so
it.
much money. Yeah, yeah, so much money went out on like like just of wages and everything like that, and just like the spending money on the what's the word, like inefficiency of how we are doing it. Like I wasn't leading the team. I didn't have good systems and structures in place, so it was not good. So it taught me to really fine tune of like, okay, where's our sweet spot? How many staff do we need to be profitable? And how many do we need to fulfill the space to operate it as efficiently as possible? Because sometimes when you got too much going on, everyone slows down because you're too busy moving cars around and trying to find a safe space and all that. So that was probably a big learning curve for me of just realizing like just because you're big doesn't mean you're better. It all came down to the only thing that can get better is me, like our skill, our service to customers, and how we treat people. And that's what's going to bring the work in, not just how many cars or even what types of cars we got in the shop.
Mm.
That didn't really matter. Um, but yeah, so, and high for me would be like just obviously working on some really nice cars, like some really high end, rare, exotic, one of 10, one of one kind of stuff. um and just meeting the different people, the relationships you build, the life lessons, all those things was just so good. Like I've learned so much from running Clean Getaway, of just dealing with people, negotiating, and just learned so much about myself as well. It really puts you out there, really makes you vulnerable. Um, and I've dealt with some crazy customers sometimes, where you just literally are just gobsmacked, or they, abuse the hell out of you, or they're having such a bad day, they feel like they can take it all out of you on you. But then I deal with some people that I'm like, you are so generous. How are you so generous? Like, and authentic, and all that just really, really changes your life, really. It really makes an impact.
Mm. No,
Hope that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. No, that's a long. Yeah, I didn't know it was 14 years, so that's pretty impressive.
Mm.
So it's not like you just started it and sold it off in 2 years. So that was, and you've built it up from.
Yeah, and we were able
from
to build it up where we could go away. Like we took the family, like we hired a caravan and we caravan for 3 weeks, and like to be able to do that and not come back to a crap storm.
Mm,
Like there were things we came back to, and it was like, all right, we realized we didn't have a good solution for that. And we realized there's a few, we had my blinders on when I made that system. And so I need to fix that. But that's all part of running a business. I think, if you come back and staff haven't left and you still got customers booking in, then that's great. But that's something that if you are the sole person in your business, you can't do that kind of thing because you need
mm,
to be there 24/7. But we're up to do that 3 weeks of not being in the shop, not even being in the same city. was great. And that's why you want to own a business, right? To give you that freedom. You don't want to be a slave to your own business. That's not why we should get into it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. No, some definitely good pointers for anyone out there that is running a larger business and wanting to get away a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, so after that, then you obviously then moved up to
Yep.
Innisfail, and then
Mm.
yeah, so you also ran Auto Fiber Australia. So
Yeah.
um, thanks for the support you were giving us
Yeah.
at the start from day dot. So, and I know a lot of people love the products as well. So, and
Yep.
people discovering it as well, like using them for the first time. And I'd been using them for a bit before the podcast. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and still do. So, what happened with all that one as well? So that was
What happened to
obviously,
auto fiber?
yeah, it's still
Yeah,
here. It's still
awesome.
here
It's
though.
still here. Yeah, definitely. Long story short is running an online business in a very rural area is logistics nightmare. And I thought I could do it. I thought I can make it work. I can do this. But then it was a lot of it was just logistics of, being in a very small rural area, shipping, freight, trucking companies. They really just don't want to know you. They just want to drive past you on the Bruce Highway, which is the main,
Yep.
highway in Queensland. And and for me too, it was a really good time to reflect of like, okay, what do I really want to do? We're up here. How can I utilize my time the best? And I just knew that, all right, if I'm gonna do detailing up here and do some work in my parents' business, help them out in like marketing and stuff, and then run an online store and go full dive into that online store of auto fiber. So I don't know how I'm going to do all this. I'm going to either do them all really badly or favor one and do the other two badly and not do it right by my parents or that I committed something to for them. And so, I was letting down the customers, I was letting down myself, and letting auto fiber down. And that's where I, with my wife's encouragement of just like, let's just focus, on fewer things. Let's not chase all these rabbits and end up catching none. And so, yeah, and I offered it to, I had a few people mention to me they were interested, just out of the blue, like of kind of like, partnering with Auto Fiber Australia. And so I just reached out to them, was like, hey, I'm actually thinking of selling, this is what we got. And I'll just transfer everything over and give you a run through. And yeah, like it just worked really well. The guys in Brisbane were keen to do it. And they run auto fiber still from Brisbane. I'm sorry, from Brisbane. And yeah, it's been good. Like yeah, I miss it. I miss it. I used to love always talking to detailers because it kept me in the loop and in the industry, really hooked in with what everyone else is doing. And I love talking detailing, love talking coatings and microfiber and what towers are used for compounds. But it was just something I had to let go to advance other things. And yeah, so that was good and it's been going pretty well ever since. I don't really check up on it to be honest, but the guys seem to be doing well.
Yep. No, that's good. And then yeah, new Sephora car care,
That's it.
starting that
Yep.
as well and setting work from home, which is good.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So a whole part of it was like, if we move up here, it's got to be a different life to the sunny coast. Like, what's the point? And even like moving to Cairns, we thought about maybe moving to Cairns, but Cairns is very similar to the Sunshine Coast, in regards to
mm,
housing and stuff. So we thought, well, why are we going to move to Cairns if it's going to be the same as the sunny coast? We need to think about why we're really wanting to do this. And so yeah, so we end up buying a house here, just outside Innisfail on about half an acre, and there's a shed built and like a big carport. And we just kind of looked and were like, man, we could so run a little detailing studio out of here, like just my own little thing. And yeah, so that's what we essentially did. I started the business from scratch and walked the streets a little bit, talked to people, and yeah, started a new Sephora car care. Obviously, that's my surname, and it kind of helps a little bit because there are, I got family here with the last name and stuff like that. So I had a little bit of a head start, but also getting into a town where detailing really is not an industry, especially when it's quite rural. People think it's a waste of time. Why would you even bother cleaning your car up here?
Mm,
But yeah, so started a news for a car care, and it was a slow burn, that's for sure. Like it didn't take off like crazy. But just good word of mouth, getting in with I joined a BNI networking group, which is like an organized business meeting that happens regularly where you join and become a member of, and only one person from each industry can be in it. So I go to that. I'm a part of that every Thursday. So I'm the only car detailer and amongst 20 other businesses, local business owners. So straight away, I got in with all the really good entrepreneurial business owners in town to build relationships and because they know people, everyone's
mm.
connected. Like if you do one bad thing, you're gone. Like, the mafia takes you out kind of thing. And yeah, so I was just trying to, get in with the right people. And now I'm flat out, like I'm really busy detailing. It's good though because I'm doing it from home, so I choose my hours, I choose my days as well, and it's been going really well. And I'm just loving the people are so relaxed. I'm not getting last minute cancellations. People aren't doing a dodgy on me. It's been really good. It's been very different to the Sunshine Coast. Sunshine Coast, you had to take deposits. You had to
Mm.
send so many emails and give people a lot of information or else they might not show up, which was a little bit frustrating. I feel like there was a bit more entitlement down there. Well, people are more, I believe, is my own opinion. They stick to their word more, just that more country kind of culture, because everyone knows everyone, and if you do it dodgy, someone will find out. And everyone will hate you for it. So that's what I think anyway. That's what I've
Yeah.
learned. So yeah, it's been going good.
Yep. And I can definitely relate to that sort of
Yeah,
that rural sort of area because that's where I'm from. I work from home.
yeah, definitely.
My one thing was one guy, I think they moved from Melbourne to here, and I think we got a deposit for the job. And then he said, "Oh, I'll pay now." I said, "No, we'll just invoice you." And he's like,
Mm,
"Far out, we wouldn't get that in Melbourne, to like send you
yeah,
off on your way and without invoicing, not knowing the guy." But I said, "We sort of know where you live. We know everyone knows everyone around here, sort of
yeah,
thing." So it's like, and he goes, "Far out," and he goes, "No, I'll pay you when I get home." But he goes, "Yeah, you wouldn't do that in Melbourne. You wouldn't see him again."
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
It's very different. It's hard to explain, and but yeah, like it's not all rosy posy, but it is different, and it's just great knowing you can trust people more, and I still take FPOS and do that. Like, I want people paying me straight away because at the end of the day, it's like still got bills to pay, and
yeah,
you can't do that at Coles and Woolies. You can't book up or tell them you'll pay later. You got to pay at the door, and it's refreshing because chasing up money is not a nice thing to do. You feel
yeah,
terrible doing it, but you also feel terrible because you owed money that truly belongs to you. So,
exactly.
haven't really had to do that, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm the same. We haven't had any dramas, so yeah. But most people we know, and they're pretty good for it. So
Yeah.
um, so you're just offering basic detailing and coatings, pretty much.
Yeah. So, for me, like, I want to do bigger jobs where it's like I want to do one or two cars a day. That's the dream, like, and I don't mean like a one hour job. I like my pre-sale details, my full complete details where shampoo, extract the interior, clean all under the seats, between the seats, everything like that. Machine polishing the exterior. And so I've been doing a lot of those for people who are either selling their car or just wanted to refresh their car, or maybe they bought a car secondhand and they want to bring it up good. Uh, and also new car protection, like ceramic coating. So I actually did do bush wraps training and was pretty much ready to rock and roll with bush wraps, but um, I found that technology and people understanding how things work travels a bit slower up here in the north. And so whenever I've talked about film and how much it costs, I nearly lose them on the phone. And so then it always comes back to, them understanding what a coating's going to do. This is what it's going to do for your car. This is what it's not going to do. And they're just like, all right, book me in for that. And it's nothing against bush wraps because there's a definite market because there's people in Cairns that want to get it done. Um, and so there's guys in Cairns that do it, and I just refer them to Cairns because it's like, why drive all this way to me and get your car filthy on the way when you could just go to a good installer in Cairns? And you know too, the longer
Mm.
you don't do PPF, the harder it is to get back into it. So I want to
Yes.
do the right thing by the customers, and yeah, so literally a lot of coatings, and full details. And I have literally like my neighbor across the road, I do her car once a fortnight. It's like the cleanest Mazda 3 you'll ever have. Um, Sometimes I think it's a stitch up. She brings it over me and I'm just like, okay, there's not much for me to do here, but I'm gonna, is this a test? Like, are there hidden specks of dirt that you're testing me on? Like, I don't know, but yeah, so that's been really, really good, mate. It's some days, some weeks have been just coding cars all week, and so quite profitable to be honest. And it's been great because then it's like, you know what, I'm gonna take a day off the next week, or we'll go do something with the family, or go out for breakfast together. And I'm not trying to rub it in with people or anything like that. That's the last thing I want to do. So if you're listening, please don't hate me, okay? That's not my agenda, but but like it gives me that bit of freedom, you know. But at the end of the day too, if I get injured, there's no income.
Yeah.
Like I'm the business. I've kind of done a full circle, right? But we're in a bit of a season where that's okay. We're okay to take that risk. We're happy to take that risk. I don't believe I'm going to be getting sick. I mean, I've got all my insurances and all that to cover us, but cover my family. But it's been really, really good. And just the word of mouth, people just calling me up and not even arguing about price. It's just like, hey, yep, I just want to get that done. Yeah, you just tell me how much it is. And I just say, well, look, it's definitely going to be under $1,000. And then, okay, cool, no worries. So, like just to give them some window, I hate think because you don't want them to think it's going to be 2 or 3 grand for a full detail. And most of
Mm.
my details are around $600, $700, and I'll spend maybe 5 hours on it. To be fully transparent with people, because I don't want people assuming what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. And if anyone has any queries or problems about that, come talk to me. But Dale, one service I have been doing a lot of, and this is hopefully this might help someone, but I've been doing, rather than doing like a warranted coating, a 5-year warranted coating, a 10-year or whatever there are out there, I've been using a coating that has no warranty, but my gosh, like it is extremely impressive. So it might cost me $40 in coating product to put it on this car.
Yeah.
And I'll do like a 2-year-old Ranger. I'll get it in, I'll wash it, I'll clay it, I'll do, ferrous particles removal, I'll get all the bitumen splatter off. I just want to be really accurate so people understand what I'm doing because I don't want to leave it open to interpretation, right?
Mm.
And so I'll do the prep work, wash it, I'll bring it in my studio, and then I'll do a machine polish enhancement. So we're talking like a 40-minute machine polish enhancement on a silver, bronze. If it's black, it might be a little bit longer, but we're using a very light compound where I'm more just trying to clean out the clear coat. I'm not trying to remove every swirl. That's why it's called an enhancement. We're probably removing 30% of swirls and just makes it look glossy and shiny. And so I do that, and then I install this coating on all the paintwork, all the exterior trims, so headlights, plastic trims around the windows. If I'm feeling really nice, I'll do the wheel faces. Like just if I'm on a roll, I'm just like, look, I'm just going to do them because I just want to let them know I've done it for free for them. And I'll charge around $600 to $700 for this, and there's no warranty, there's no like guarantee. I do know it's going to last 2 or 3 years if they look after and wash it regularly. And this will take me anywhere between 3 hours to 4 hours to do. Okay. And extremely profitable. Now I know people could be in a city where they're like, well, I got old mate down the road doing Crystal Serum Light or something for $500 and it comes with a
Mm.
5-year warranty. And yeah, you're gonna have people who do that. But if you're only in the business of doing high-end warranted coatings or just a coating that is marketed to last forever and with no warranty, there's a few of those around, but you got to spend 2 or 3 grand. You could probably lose a lot of customers if you don't offer a cheaper alternative. And the reason why I love it because they come in, they get it done, and I never see them again in a negative way. I see all
Mm.
their friends and family that they refer to me, so they must be happy, right?
Yeah.
Or they bring another car, they bring their wife's car or whatever. So But that's been so good because I could do two of those in one day, and it's the easiest coating to put on, and I'm not ripping off the customer. Like it is working so well. I've done my own car, done my wife's car in it. I've done my one of my parents' cars, and it's so good. Like, yeah, I rate it above some of the warranted 5-year coatings because at the end of the day, warranties mean nothing anyway. Like,
Yeah.
it's as in, like, it doesn't de determine how good a coating is. It should mean something when crap hits the fan and there's an etching, and the manufacturer needs to do something about that because they have this warranty in place. But as far as, you know, should a 5-year coating be better than a non-warranted coating? Well, that's depending on how it's been maintained. So I just sort of put that in there because that's what I've been doing, and it's been so good for my business, and I've been able to grow that because the barrier of entry is quite low for the everyday person. I don't know if that helps or anything.
Yeah. No, it's interesting
We'll soon
because
find out.
no, because I'm not big on the warranty thing either with my
Mm.
brand, and I don't push that one bit at all. We give them info. I don't really say it's warrant. It's in the website, but
Yep.
it's nothing that we push personally. So, um, and that 2 year thing probably keeps that car looking immaculate because you're only seeing it every if you come back in 2 years' time, you can chuck
Yeah.
another one on it and
Well, and that's how I
stuff like
sell
that.
it. Like, get it done every 3 years. It's like buying the new iPhone. Like your
Mm,
2-year-old iPhone will still work, but you want the latest one, right?
yep.
Unless you've dropped it and your screen's just hanging on barely. But they'll still work, but everyone still wants the latest and greatest thing. And so why not come back in 2 years, trash your car for whatever reason if you just don't want to look after it, and let's just polish it and recode it. But the coding will be its latest formula, its latest generation, and then hit that reset button to a degree, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But you're not spending 3 grand up front, and then 3 years
exactly.
later, they're coming in, the car's water spotted. It's got scratches. It's not beating very well on the bonnet anymore. Is this, why should this be happening? I just spent 3 grand and you told me it was going to do this, and I've watched it every week when really, they haven't. And,
No.
but you've got to deal with that ugly situation. And telling the truth isn't always what they want to hear. And I say this because I've experienced this, like when I was reading the bottle, everything the bottle said, or the company's marketing stuff. And I was just getting smashed by some customers, but I just try to keep learning from those experiences. And yeah, so it's great because I'm not, and yes, I've only been doing it for a year now, but still, we had people come back after 6 months because they had water spotting on a warranted coating because they thought it should not happen, which is impossible. Like, a coating's water spot. It doesn't matter what coating it is. Some will be better than others, but
Yep,
you can't prevent water spot. Like, yeah, it just happens. So yeah.
exactly.
Anyway, that's cool, man.
No, that's a good
Thanks.
insight, and even working from home, so the family must be loving that. Like you can go out after
Yeah.
dinner if need be, and you got
Yes,
your aircon in your studio as well.
I
So,
do. Yes, I
yep.
have an aircon. And yeah, so it's good. Like, if the day gets away on me, and I got a car overnight, we'll have dinner. I'll keep the car in the studio, get the kids to bed and do all that. Make sure there's no, kids walking out on you. Sometimes half an hour later, kids are coming out, can't sleep or whatever. And so once, that's all done and quiet, I'll jump in the studio and finish off a car, and it's good because I live pretty rural. There's a banana farm next to me, so if there's a competition of who's louder, it's definitely them. But that's okay because that's where I live. Like everyone's understanding, and the neighbors are great, and everyone's on a bit of property, so no one's getting upset, which is really important. Like when I first started it back in Caloundra on the sunny coast, working at night, you kind of like hiding behind the car because it's late and there's neighbors and you're like, oh no, people are gonna call the council or the cops or something, or they're gonna sort me out themselves. I don't know, but um, it's very different. So, and working from home, just having that, yeah, just that freedom. My wife makes me coffees, she always offers, and it's just you don't get that when you, you know, like all that kind of stuff, which is great. So yeah,
Oh, that's a fair lifestyle change anyway, in probably the last 12 months, 24 months really.
yeah.
Like you've had a bit on, so
And a
no.
shock to the body too, if I can add, because I wasn't on the tools much, like that in the last year of owning Clean Getaway, and so when I got back into like machine polishing every day, oh man, like the doctor knew me by name. Hey, like just like sore elbows, shoulders, like tingles in my hands, and I'm like, man, is this midlife crisis or what's going on here? But yeah, feeling better now though.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah, well, that was, yeah. I think with your experience, that's sort of why and when I had the co-host idea, yeah, you're literally pretty much the first person I thought of, and I thought, well, the experience that you've had and businesses and stuff, so it's a good addition to what we might do here. So
Mm,
that's why I thought, yeah, a
that's
good
cool.
addition. So any thoughts of ideas or anything you want to let loose on or
For the podcast or
yeah,
just
yep,
yeah, like personally, I know we've spoken about this, but you know, what has already been happening through the podcast has been great. Hearing all these detailers' stories and their journey, like their origin story, and that's been really, really good. And so we've talked about possibly getting, how can we help detailers with their business? So we kind of thought like perhaps getting on maybe someone like who's an accountant that is quite really good with talking and can help explain, dumb it down, dumb it
mm,
down for me, not for the audience, but for me, of like, what you need to do with your tax and how do you build your business so you're not going to have a huge tax bill at the end, and how can you keep your funds good and like have good cash flow and things like that, because when you grow your business you're spending so much money, and you think you've been doing well and all of a sudden you didn't realize that you had to pay this extra tax or whatever it is, or you didn't realize you've gone into another tax bracket and the ATO stings you. So
mm,
just getting some professionals on, I think it's going to be really exciting. Just because there's so much out there that we don't know because it's not our industry, but we need to know. And you can't say no to free advice, right?
exactly.
That's going to be really cool. So, and just probably even getting some people from overseas as well to inspire and encourage us all. I think that'll be a cool little thing to add in. But I'm really keen to hear where people think the industry's going.
Mm,
Like coatings are still alive and well. PPF and now, colored PPF and painted on clear coat, and there's so much out there, hey.
yep.
And yeah, it's gonna be really cool to hear how people are going down in the big smoke. I can say that now.
Yeah.
And just out all over Australia. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think probably two things. The coloured PPF, I think
Mm,
that's going nuts at the moment. I see a lot of people doing wicked work with that. So that's interesting. And then I think I don't know how long this has been going on, but the PPF for residential interiors, bench tops and stuff.
yeah,
I've seen that going crazy. So
makes
there's
sense.
lots of little markets out there for other people. So, um, but yeah, for podcasts, I think yeah we're working on more guests. So, and then obviously trying a line of times.
Mm,
It was good. Or we always struggle. I always struggled aligning times, and now we're going to throw you in the mix as well. But we we'll make it work. So,
yeah.
but yeah, we do want to. There's a few that I need to touch base again um, for this year. So, and but if I haven't followed up with you, yeah, it's coming. So, and then trying to align time. So we thinking during weekdays,
Mm,
or and maybe
yeah.
yeah, depends on the weekends. But we try and want to keep it during the week because I've freed up more time for my business this year. So,
Yep.
less mining for me. So yeah, that's the aim for this year, and it might not suit everyone, but I think yeah, we can make it work.
Early mornings and no interruptions with customers always works well
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
for most
Or
people. For some people.
yeah, it's good when the boss can sort of step aside for a couple of hours and jump on a
Yeah.
pod, and we've had that before, and it's worked quite well. So
Mm.
but yeah, it'd be cool to hear everyone's thoughts and yeah,
And
hopefully for
also
a big
too,
year.
if people want to reach out and um get advice, or like, hey, this is what's going on in my business, or this is where I am, but I want to get to here. What do you guys reckon? And because we both have very different walks of life, and you've grown your business extremely well. down in Mount Gambier doing PPF, learning from scratch. Now I can see that plotter hiding behind you there. That's when you know you're really stepping it up when you invest, 10,000 plus in a plotter.
Yeah.
And to get to that step alone is a big milestone. Because that broadens your horizon quite significantly when you get software and everything. So yeah, so even if people want to reach out to be able to, we can do a bit of an audit on their business, but just so you know, everyone's going to hear about it.
Mm,
But we don't judge here. And I think like the listeners, the detailers understand that everyone's in a different area. You'll be in a different town to me or a different city to me. So what works really well for me may not work really well for you, and vice versa. And same with you down there too.
mm.
And yeah, so I think that'd be really cool too if we have opportunity to give some advice and share our two bob anyway if someone wants to jump on.
Yep. No, that said it well because like my thing around here is Google reviews. I'm not huge
Mm,
on them because we get a lot of word of mouth stuff in. But
yep.
yeah, I've had a few guys from the bigger cities going, you need more reviews, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm working on it, but it's not a huge thing here because but some
Oh, I
people
feel ya.
do, yeah, that have big businesses will give me a review. So I think that's what they're
Yeah.
used to. So um,
Totally. Like
yeah.
like that's so funny you say that because I've discovered the same thing up here. Like on the Sunshine Coast, it was all about Google reviews. Because I found on the Sunshine Coast, this is just our experience, was a lot of the Facebook referrals and leads were just tire kickers. They weren't
Mm,
our ideal customers. It was always revolved around price. How much for this? And it's like, whoa, whoa, we haven't even talked about what car you got or what kind of result you want. You're just only inquiring about price. Like, that must be the most important factor to you then,
mm,
whereas up here you're right. Google reviews, I struggle. I ask, I nearly get on my knees and begged for some people to give me a Google review. But Facebook leads, like people inquiring through Facebook, are so good. Like, and Instagram is
mm,
is no good. It's really like Facebook. And I think too because it's an older generation. A lot of more people are on Facebook here, and that's because it's that smaller community. Everyone's linked together on Facebook. So yeah, I get a lot of work through Facebook where I used to discount that and discredit Facebook leads and think they're just gonna go nowhere. But mate, like I just had someone book in for full details through a Facebook just message, you know,
uh,
and not quite inquiry. The biggest thing was when can I do it and how am I going to get all four cars done? And so I've got a bit of land here, so he can store them here with me, and I can keep them overnight, for a few days, etc. So yeah, it's really interesting how the same marketing strategy will work differently in different areas around the country. It's a big ass country we live in.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And also be interesting, like we hear people or businesses slowing down or the economy
Mm,
as well. Be interesting to hear a bit more on that. But
yep.
I believe there's people that still are quite well off and are spending money and buying new cars and getting
Yeah.
wraps and yeah, like it's crazy even out here, like the amount of chopped Land Cruiser 300s we have here, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like they're selling like hotcakes. So
Yeah, and I think it does come down to as well like helping people understand why they need your service.
mm,
Because people aren't just going to be like, "Oh, I need PPF" out of the blue. The reason why they'd be saying that is because they've seen ads from Bush Wraps or they've seen ads from Expel or Suntech. Probably don't see many ads, but or ads from other detailers, or they've seen
mm,
something on YouTube that's told them that they need PPF on their car. But so we need to be like that. We need to help people understand this is why you should get your car coded up here in North Queensland because it's going to help with XYZ. But beforehand, before I got here, a lot of people didn't even know that existed.
yep,
And if I just jump in and, have my website or whatever and say, this is what I do, it won't really do much, or it might not, because people don't see the reason why they should get that in the first place. So yeah, and because of cost of living and all that, it's continuously evolving, I believe. So it's like we always got to keep on, communicating why you need to get your car wrapped, like what are the perks, like this is what it can do for your car,
mm,
and not just sit and wait
yeah.
for customers to roll in because it doesn't always work like that. So yeah.
And not everyone wants it either. Like they go, oh, I'm just around town. I don't really need that outlay.
Yes.
So just put a coating on it. Coating's fine.
Sorry, and that reminded me, we did talk about this, but I lost my notes, was we want to hear from people, what was it, like the horror story or like the biggest Karen they've ever had?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. That's so close to my heart because I know I did a bit of some, well, I thought it was funny. That sounds
Your
stupid,
reels,
but
yes.
yeah, I did some reels with auto fiber where I was like being that
That's right.
ridiculous customer. And they should still be on auto fiber. I'll check if the guys, if they took them down or not, if they got cancelled or something. But do you have a Karen? Like, have you ever had a big Karen or like just a horror story?
Not really.
No?
Nah. Nah,
Okay.
I'm very lucky with who I get and who
Far
we
out.
attract. So
Jealous.
yeah. Nah.
Maybe it's the people, maybe it's the business owner. Yeah,
No,
I just remember one, if I quickly share,
Hmm.
was just when a lady, she had a FJ Cruiser, a black one, and it was that stone chipped. You would think white paint was like splattered up on it because there was heaps of white dots everywhere. Did a full detail on, and this is previous. This is like back down on the Sunshine Coast. And she was adamant that I should be able to machine polish out the stone chips. And she thought I was taking the mickey out of her, that I said, no, you can't. Like they'd chipped the black paint out. That's why they're called stone chips.
Yeah.
And I thought I was being stitched up. I thought it was a joke. I didn't know if she was serious because she was kind of on the, you know, on the border, or, like I didn't know if she escaped somewhere or something, but, and that's one part where I nearly started laughing because it was that crazy what she was saying. And then she blew up at me, just absolutely went and accused me of making fun of her. And I was just like, I'm so sorry, but like what you're asking for is just not possible. Anyway, so that was, and even when she left, I remember the boys were like, how did you deal with her? How did you do that? Like, how did you like hold a straight face? And I'm just like, man, I was squeezing so hard to like keep it together. So anyway, that was probably one of my biggest Karens I've had, and I'd love to hear what other people, because everyone will have a story, right?
Yep.
Surely, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even
Yeah.
just like an accident. I remember, I scratched a Porsche and damaged a few cars, and it happens, eh? It happens.
No, we've all done it, and you just don't hear about it. People,
Well, it's
yeah,
not the most nicest story to tell people
no,
when you stuff up, or you slip on and you do something bad. But anyway, it happens. So,
yeah,
but man, it's good to be here. Thank you so much. I'm looking
no,
forward
it's
to this
awesome.
year and see where it all goes.
Yep, no, thank you very much, and well, we might wrap it up there anyway, and
Yeah,
yeah, we'll look out for we'll still be every fortnight, every 2 weeks, so. Dropping day, we're not sure exactly. We were going to mix it up a little bit, but you'll soon hear about it, everyone. But yeah, if not the Tuesday, it could be a Monday. But yeah, that's something we're working on as well. So because we know a lot of pods. Well, to me, my pods come out Tuesdays. So some people's come
yeah,
out Wednesdays. Or yeah, twice a week. But yeah, we'll be still every fortnight.
that's cool.
Every week's a lot of work at the moment, but
Yep.
yeah, and we'll see how it goes. So. All right, wrap it up, and thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Ben.
And
Look
then
forward to chatting to detailers this year. It's gonna be great.
yep, yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, cheers, guys, and we'll talk soon. Thank you. See ya.
See ya.
That was another episode of the Detailing Down Under podcast. Subscribe now for everything auto detailing in Australia.